Alright, that's the spiritual element to that too. And the underlying energy is the King of Swords. Geminis, this is your card. Underneath that, you have the Six of Swords. Moving on, leaving something behind. Transitioning from one phase of your life to the next. But it can be difficult. King of Swords is also the honest of the honest, okay? Very truthful, very honest, very communicative too. They talk a lot. Now, the King of Swords doesn't lie. He doesn't need to. He just is like, hey, this is my rules, that's it. Also, one thing I forgot. What brought you two together? The Ten of Pentacles, security, support, stability. The truth is what's key, is the challenge for you guys. Now, somebody is definitely needing this truth serum for sure, because we're getting some cards in here that's definitely suggesting that somebody's not accepting the reality of a situation. Not that they're lying or deceiving someone else, but I definitely think that there's someone that's not being very realistic in a sense. And maybe not realistic, but there's some sort of truth that somebody here is not trying to grasp. I don't know who this would be, considering that both sides here are both trying to do the best that they can with what they know. But I feel like the person here with the Chariot could be that thing, right? It could be the person. Now, typically I read this side here as the client, but please remember that these readings may not resonate with everybody. And considering this is like a two-side reading, go ahead and pick the side that resonates with you the most. But the mindset of this individual is the Chariot. So definitely something is definitely like, somebody feels that they're in control, they're balanced, they are full steam ahead. They're taking control of their mind, that's for sure. I don't think this is talking about a lack of balance here, but I feel like there's a lot of force, a lot of willpower with this. Somebody's definitely using willpower to push through. While the other person here sees this, this relationship as a new beginning, potential for something that can last a long time. This can definitely stand the test of time. Pretty much to lead to the Ten of Pentacles, right? That's what the Ace of Pentacles does lead to. The physical representation of the relationship that you're in, the financial security, the emotional security within yourself, etc. Right? Home and everything. And that's like a really great happily ever after. And I feel like what brought you two together is that you kind of had that sense of commitment between each other, and you guys obviously were maybe this person is currently in a relationship with you, or you guys have this both desire to get to the Ten of Pentacles, get to a place of great wealth, or get to a wealth in not just finances, but in spirit and emotions and love and everything. This person is seeing this opportunity as a new beginning, and they have to put the seed in to make it work. You got 3 aces in this entire reading, guys. The only ace I see that's missing is the Ace of Cups. That's the thing that kind of concerns me, because we are missing the biggest thing that can make all this stuff really come true, which is that cup, that Ace of Cups, that feeling, that those emotions are very important. And the only, we don't got no cards like that except for the Two of Cups. Somebody feels the same way about how someone else feels, overburdened with responsibilities perhaps, but their focus is primarily on the connection. I feel it's really weird. I don't really typically read the Two of Cups like that, but that's just the case. Now, the King of Swords in your underlying energy is like, who's being honest? Who's being true to their self? Who's really accepting their truth? We had the Six of Swords underneath there. It's like leaving something behind. It's difficult, right? It's difficult to do the Six of Swords because you're leaving what's familiar, what you're used to. Leaving the thing that you kind of you trained yourself to kind of be used to, and to explore and to find new land, new places. It's difficult, right? And I feel like the King of Swords is like, even though it's hard for this person to transition, if they need to, if this perspective doesn't work for the King of Swords anymore, he will change it. Reluctantly, but he will change it. It's still Aquarius. If they don't like the way that they think about themselves, they will change it. Or how things are doing or whatever, they will change it. So, same situation. I think somebody here is a bit of resistant of the change, a bit resistant of the situation, of the reality of something, or the truth of something regarding, personally. And I think that's what's making this situation a lot harder than it is. Now, with with the Chariot coming out with this person is really pushing. I think that's what the thing is really, the person is really doing their best, pushing and, utilizing their willpower. And how they're perceived is they're always overburdened with responsibilities and commitments. They're really overburdened with things. They're taxed out. Like, they have a lot on their plate. A lot of stuff that they're trying to make happen on their own by themselves, right? They know that there's a burden for them too. But I feel like for some, I feel like this person is just like, kind of sees this as, a necessary victory, if that makes sense. This is a kind of something that you have to do in order to get to a victory. And this person feels like they're making great segue, if that makes sense. They're making great progress. The Chariot comes in. This person feels the same way. This person has the 10 of Cups, 10 of Wands, however, in how they present each other. And this is typically the 2 of Cups. I always see this as a mirror. But how they feel isn't really what's coming up here. I feel like, how they feel could be that they are overburdened with responsibilities and commitments, but they're also very focused on their goal, right? This is the victory card in a way, because, they have that balance in themselves to be able to make, to go in the direction they want to go. And I feel like this person, in a way, I feel like this person may think that they feel the same way about themselves, but I feel like their main attention has a lot to do with the relationship, the connection itself, just how they see each other through, how they see themselves through the other person, right? And not in a very selfish way. I don't mean to be selfish, when it sounds selfish or like someone that's just like you literally using you as a mirror here, Gemini. But I really feel like this person is connecting in a sense. It's connecting from a very, individual level, right? This is a very mirroring effect to them, because they kind of are taking time to really learn themselves through you. They're learning you too, but they're also learning themselves through you. Now, where you guys come from, the reasons why this is all kind of happening, the reasons why I definitely say this person is kind of seeing themselves through you, Gem, is because you have the 6 of Wands is their foundation, where they're coming from, being recognized, being seen, feeling like they're doing the right thing, right? They feel like they're doing the right thing for themselves, though. That's the big part, right? To feel like they're doing the right thing for themselves, but also to be recognized, to be noticed. I feel like this person does a lot of the things that they do for attention, period. And it may not be for everyone. That description may be for very few of you guys out there, right? For the other person that you're dealing with. I feel like somebody may be doing something for a great deal of attention from their significant other, from the person that they see it as equals, right? Because it's 2 Cups, it says an equal card. It doesn't necessarily have to be this person that's in a relationship. It could be a planned friendship, a partnership, whatever. But I feel like they want to make someone proud. They want to make themselves proud, perhaps, too. I feel like there's a big part of that. But I feel like they want to be seen. They want to be noticed for the victory that they've invested time in, right? They want to be noticed for that. That's why their focus is not necessarily anything other than what the other person's doing, right? The person, how they're seeing something is the other person. How they're presenting themselves has to do with the other person. Their mindset is that this is a new beginning to build something potentially strong and long-term. And even this is like a new relationship, a new commitment, a new offer towards something that can be very stable. But their focus is on the relationship. And I feel like they just, where they're coming from is this lack of, not lack, but they really want to feel proud about something, or at least make someone else feel proud of them. And where you're coming from, Gemini, or the other person, if this isn't you, the other person is you, this person here is for you. The Ace of Wands is coming from this new beginning. This opportunity to plant new seeds and to take action and to do something. Because this person perhaps may not have done very much beforehand, and now they have an opportunity to do something differently, to be their different selves, to come from a very authentic place and to make something happen, to take action on something. This is why this person has such very tunnel vision attitude about this, right? Very willpowering kind of way. That and this is the 10 of Wands. Like, they know that they're overburdened with responsibilities. They're still going to try and carry this mess by themselves, because even though they're ending a cycle here, they know that they just doing something is the biggest thing for them. Making this new beginning happen. It's so significant that this is like a diagonal kind of position here. But I feel like this situation needs to be dealt first before they can start something new. And I feel like they're coming from a place where they want to start and plant a new seed and start something new, and ultimately begin something that they feel proud of as well. This is their new baby in a way. Now, the obstacle that you both face is the Ace of Swords, which is victory, real victory through the truth. Now, I feel like with the Ace of Swords, I don't know why the Ace of Swords, to be honest with you, in this situation, because there's so many different personally, individually, for everyone that I can possibly list and not take up too much time and, get too confusing. I don't really know what this Ace of Swords is for everybody, but there is something personally that each person needs to gain from themselves to kind of understand something that they don't need to do extra stuff for, if that makes sense. Like, for instance, I feel like this person's looking for approval and they want to feel like they made someone proud and recognized for the effort that they've been putting in. They know there's a new beginning, but their focus is on someone else. But the reality of the situation is, though, is that this person perhaps needs to get that validation in that, success, in that, feeling proud and feeling like you're heading in the right direction from themselves. King of Swords. He don't need anyone's approval. He doesn't need anyone's feedback. He is, you could tell him you like his writing. You could tell him that he hates it. He doesn't feel anything different either way. Complimenting is just as good as insulting to him. It's like, it's just words. If he feels that way to himself, then we got something to work with. If he don't feel that way, it's like, okay, we just kind of hit a snag there. But I feel like with the Eight of, with the Ace of Swords crossing, the reality of something is the new ideas, or the truth about why each person is doing something. That's kind of missed. Not that it's, someone's lying to someone or anything like that, but there's just like individual truths within themselves. That's what's being missed. Like, this person's taking control because, this person, feels like they're controlling things, or they're moving at a great speed when they have the Ten of Wands here. They can't move as fast or as efficiently as they'd like to if they just allowed someone else to help them, if they just allowed themselves to kind of get some help, or maybe even drop the burden that they've carried all together. And the Ace of Wands, the foundation, the reason why they're doing that is because I feel like they want to start again. They want to start fresh. I'm going to pull an extra card here, and I don't typically do this with the Ace of Swords, because I kind of want to better understand why what is the Ace of Swords for the challenge for both of you guys. And it's the Empress, the manifestation aspect of everything. I feel like the truth about manifestation for everybody in this reading has to do with that things will take time. It doesn't happen overnight. And coming to terms with that will help you plan for things a little bit more. It will help things, move in a more efficient progress. Now, also, the Empress could be that there's a need for everyone to take care of themselves. Because if there's overexertion here, then yeah, you guys being really unrealistic about your own bodies and your own capabilities by is spreading yourself out, spreading yourself thin. The Temperance takes care of herself. Temperance takes care of other people. She takes care of her garden. She builds a utopia. I know that that's what you guys come together for, is to build a utopia together, to build a beautiful, harmonious family. But if you guys are not taking care of yourselves, allowing yourselves time to get things done in an efficient way, then things can become unclear whether or not something's a victory or not. That kind of makes a lot of sense with the deception card, right? Because it's like, what false self mask is everybody trying to wear to get something done, right? It takes time. Forcing it was just not going to work. You have to kind of do things that comes available in due time. Oh wow, okay. And you guys have treasure your loved ones. It talks about taking time to appreciate what you have. The Empress does that all the time. Appreciate them, treasure your loved ones. It's important to love each other, love others deeply. Right? Like I was saying, you got all the cards in here, all the aces. The only thing that's missing in regards to a love reading or a soulmate reading, you don't have no Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is missing, the emotional aspect of it. Where's the feeling, the nurturing, the healing, And I think that's the thing, right? The love part of it is the part that's missing. I think there's a lot of doing, a lot of manifesting. But no matter how much, if you're focused on manifesting and not taking time to cherish what you have with each other, with yourself especially, things can kind of start to feel more and more pointless and hard to do, because you don't really have, you haven't given yourself the time to remind yourself of why you're working the reason as hard as you're working. Because this person here is pushing it. They're really maximum effort here. And this person, they're doing this for the pride of the relationship, because they feel a connection with this person. It's very interesting reading this time around, Gemini, I have to say, at the very least. But Treasure Your Loved Ones is definitely talking about just allowing yourself to just be sometimes. Being is just as good as doing, because you're doing something as you're being. You're being yourself. You're doing yourself, pretty much. Not in a nasty way, but you're never stopping. You're healing, and that's still doing something.